morning everyone. So we have our next lecture, lecture number 4, based on inverse Laplace transform and system function and system properties. In the earlier lecture we have discussed about the Laplace transform basics, and in the last slide we have discussed about some of the properties of the Laplace transform. So in this lecture we are going to solve some numerical problems based on the system Laplace transform properties, and then we will see about inverse Laplace transform and system function and then system properties. So we have discussed in the earlier class in the last slide that these are the various properties of the Laplace transform. That is, the first one is the linearity, then time shifting property, Laplace domain or frequency shifting property, then Laplace domain scaling, then conjugation property, then time domain convolution property, then time domain differentiation property, then Laplace domain differentiation property, or you can say in frequency domain differentiation, and then time domain integration. So these are the various properties which we can use to solve some of the problems of the Laplace transform. So suppose, for example, example number 1, find the Laplace transform of xt ut minus 1. Obviously we know that what is ut, which is a unit step function, that is, it is a unit step function, and this function is basically for t greater than equivalent to 0. So ut defined as 1 for t greater than equivalent to 0 and 0 for t less than 0. So we have this type of function ut. So if we want to find out the Laplace transform of ut minus 1, we know the Laplace transform of ut, that is 1 upon s, and for that the region of convergence, that is ROC, is basically real of s greater than 0, as there are no poles at, or you can say the one pole at s is equivalent to 0. So at s is equivalent to 0 we have this pole, and the right side part, because it's a right sided signal, the right side part will be the ROC. So this is sigma, this is j omega. Using the time domain shifting property, we can define xt is equivalent to ut minus 1. If there is shift in the time by 1, there will be the multiplication in the exponential term in the Laplace domain. So it becomes, the property is basically xt minus t naught, and the Laplace transform of this is e to the power minus s t naught x of s. So as we have t naught is equivalent to 1 here, we have the value e to the power minus s x of s, or you can say e to the power minus s upon s. So for this also the ROC is real of s greater than 0. The second numerical is based on using only the properties of the Laplace transform and transform pair. We have to find the Laplace transform of this function. So here we know the Laplace transform of e to the power minus of mod t, that is 2 upon 1 minus s square, or it has the property e to the power minus of a of mod t, that is, or Laplace transform of this is 2a upon a square minus s square. So in place of a we have here 1, so it becomes 2 upon 1 minus s square, Laplace transform of e to the power minus of mod t. As we know this already, we can find out the Laplace transform of e to the power 5t e to the power minus of mod t by using the frequency shifting property of the Laplace transform. So how we use here, as we know, e to the power minus mod t ka Laplace is 2 upon 1 minus s square, and the roots here are at s is equivalent to 1 and s is equivalent to minus 1. So the roots are real of s greater than minus 1 and real of s less than 1. Using that, because the signal is like this, so if you draw the poles here, one pole is at minus 1 and one pole is at 1. So for this signal, it's a left sided signal. So we have the ROC, that is real of s greater than minus 1 and less than 1. So this is the region of convergence for this particular signal. Then we use the Laplace domain shifting, or you can say frequency domain shifting property, that is xt e to the power 5t e to the power minus mod t, Laplace of that is xs, that is 2 upon 1 minus, in the place of s we have s minus 5 ka square for real of s greater than minus 1 plus 5 and minus 1 1 plus 5. So we have real of s greater than 4 and less than 6 here. So rewriting this in the form of the factorized form, we can have xs is equivalent to 2 upon 1 minus s minus 5 ka whole square, or we can write 2 upon 1 minus s square minus 10s plus 25. We can solve like this: 2 upon s square minus 2 upon s square minus 10s plus 24, or we have these roots. So the poles are at 6 and 4. So one pole is at 6, 4, and one pole at 6. So the ROC is the strip between the two, that is this part. Real of s is greater than 4 and less than 6. So this is sigma, this is j omega. Next question: using only the properties of the Laplace transform and the transform pair, we can find out the value of this, that is xt is equivalent to e to the power minus mod of 3t. So here we can use time scaling property. So what is time scaling property? That is x of at, Laplace transform of this is 1 upon mod of a x of s by a. We can easily see that we know e to the power minus mod t, Laplace of that. In the earlier question also we have used this, that is 1 minus s square, where real of s is greater than minus 1 and less than 1. So how to solve this? We can easily solve this by using this formula again, and then we use the time scaling property, time domain scaling property, that is 1 upon mod of a, that is a, here a is equivalent to 3. So 1 upon mod of a, 1 upon mod of 3, 2 upon 1 minus s by 3 ka whole square, for real of s, that is 3 multiplied by minus 1 and 3 multiplied by 1. So real of s lies between minus 3 to 3. So simplifying this equation, we can have the two roots, that is at s is equivalent to minus 3 and at s is equivalent to 3, and therefore we have this type of expression, that is xs is equivalent to minus 6 upon s plus 3, s minus 3. Now we can have a property which is known as convolution property. So here we are using this property to solve the question, that is x1t is equivalent to sin 3t ut and x2t is equivalent to t ut. How to use this? So we know that x1t is equivalent to sin 3 t ut, and we already know sin omega naught t ut. The Laplace transform of this is equivalent to omega naught upon s square plus omega naught square. So we can use this thing here. So sin 3t, in place of omega naught there is 3, so it is 3 upon s square plus 9. Also here the ROC is real of s is greater than 0, as it has only complex roots. So next is x2t, which is tut. So when you solve tut, that is a ramp signal, and for this signal the Laplace transform is 1 upon s square for real of s greater than 0. Now we use the time domain convolution property. If xt ka Laplace transform is x of s, that is 3 upon s square plus 9 multiplied by 1 upon s square, because we know x1t convolution x2t, Laplace transform of this is equivalent to x1s multiplied by x2s. So we use x1s from the first expression and then x2s from the second expression, multiply both, we will get our x's. So the ROC of x is real of s is greater than 0, intersection real of s is greater than 0, as opposed to a superset. Thereof, since no pole 0 cancellation occurs, you can simplify the expression, that is 3 upon s square plus 9 multiplied by s square. So there are poles which is repeated poles at s is equivalent to 0, 2 poles, and s square plus 9. Due to this we have 2 poles, that is s square plus s plus 3j and s minus 3j. So we have s plus 3j that is here, and s minus 3j that is here. So for this we can say that ROC, common ROC is real of s again greater than 0, as these poles will not contribute in the ROC. Now next question we have: find the Laplace transform of xt is equivalent to t e to the power minus 2t ut. If we know easily that e to the power minus 2t ut, the Laplace transform of that is 1 upon s plus a or s plus 2. So as we know, e to the power minus at ut, Laplace transform of this is 1 upon s plus a. So by using this we can find out the value of this, as there is only one multiplication of t here. So here we used differentiation property, which is in frequency domain. So e to the power minus 2t ut, we have 1 upon s plus 2, that is real of s greater than minus 2. Using the Laplace transform t e to the power minus 2t ut, we have minus of d by ds upon multiplied by 1 upon s plus 2. As we know, t xt, Laplace transform of this is minus d by ds of xs. So we put here simply xt, that is minus d by ds of xs. Xs is here 1 upon s plus 2. Solving this, you will get expression that is xs is equivalent to 1 upon s plus 2 ka square. So here we have two roots again, that is real of s greater than minus 2. Both the roots lies at minus 2. So there are two roots which are at minus 2. So and it's a right sided signal. So we have ROC this region. So this is sigma, this is j omega. So this is real of s greater than minus 2. Now we have to find out the transform, that is xt is equivalent to t e to the power minus 3 of mod t. So we know that t e to the power minus 3 of mod t, we can write this expression as t e to the power 3t u of minus t and plus t e to the power minus 3t u of t, because for t less than 0 it becomes plus and for t greater than 0 it remains same. Taking the Laplace transform, when you take the Laplace transform t e to the power 3t, already we have written for the t e to the power mod of t Laplace. So if you solve this, it becomes minus 1 upon s minus 3 whole square plus 1 factorial upon s plus 3 ka whole square, and the ROC will be in between the two ranges, that is from minus 3 to 3, because one is left sided signal and other one is right sided signal. On simplifying this, you will get expression of xs, that is minus 12 s upon s plus 3 ka whole square and s minus 3 ka whole square. Now we will come to initial and final value theorem, because this theorem is very important in Laplace transform as it solves many of the problems. So what is initial value theorem? Let x be a function with the Laplace transform x if x is causal and contains no impulses or higher order singularities at the origin. Then what happened? Then x of 0 plus, that is the right sided basically signal, is equivalent to limit s tends to infinity s of xs. So if we know xs and we put limit s tends to infinity, it will give you the initial value of the signal. So where x of 0 denotes plus 0 denotes the limit of xt as t approaches 0 from positive values of t. Final value theorem, let x be a function with the Laplace transform x if x is causal and xt has a finite limit as t tends to infinity. In that case, limit t tends to infinity mod of xt is equivalent to limit s tends to 0. Now in the final theorem we have s tends to 0. In the initial theorem we have s tends to infinity, s of xs. So both these theorems can be used for solving the problems of the Laplace transform. So determination, now we have determination of the inverse Laplace transform. So in the earlier Fourier, you have already, maybe you have read in mathematics or in some courses that Fourier domain is, in Fourier domain we use j omega terms, or in Laplace we use s domain. In the same way, the Laplace inverse or the Fourier inverses are similar to each other. So as suggested earlier, we rarely use the below equation directly. So normally Laplace transform of xt is equivalent to, or you can say Laplace transform of this is xs. xs is equivalent to xt, that is equivalent to 1 upon 2 pi j integration over, you can write minus infinity to infinity, but when you solve from Fourier to Laplace, you will get this expression, that is sigma minus j infinity to sigma plus j infinity xs e to the power st. In the Laplace domain it is e to the power minus st, in the inverse domain it is e to the power st d of s. So in order to compute the inverse Laplace transform, this formula requires a contour integration. This is called contour integration, which is not usually very easy to compute. So instead we employ a partial fraction method or expansion for getting the signal from the Laplace transform. So for the inverse Laplace transform, we mainly use partial fraction method. So now we have an question, that is find the inverse Laplace transform x of the function, that is xt is equivalent to t e to the power minus 3 mod t. So to begin this, we have xt is equivalent to t e to the power 3t. Same question, earlier question we have used this expression, that is for t less than 0 it is t e to the power 3t u of minus t, and for t greater than 0 it is t e to the power minus 3t ut. Now take the Laplace transform, you will get this expression like this. Now we have to find out the inverse Laplace transform. So we have these type of roots we can find out with the partial fraction method, that is the partial fraction method, that is a upon s plus 3 plus b upon s plus 3 ka square plus c upon s minus 3 plus d upon s minus. So we can find out the values of a, b, c and d. So how to find out the value of a, b, c and d? Here from this expression we can find out a with s plus 3 multiplied by x of s at s is equivalent to minus 3. Similarly b, for b because it's a repeated root, so d by ds of s plus 3 square xs at s is equivalent to minus 3. Similarly c we can find, that is s minus 3 x of s at s is equivalent to 3. So from this expression you can get easily that expression, and then d, that is d by ds of s minus 3 square at s is equivalent to 3. So by getting the values of a, b, c and d, we can find out the expression which is same as, that is xt is equivalent to t e to the power 3t u of minus t plus t e to the power minus 3t ut. So now we are coming to system function and system properties. So there are some system functions which is called as causality. First, a LTI system is causal if its impulse response is causal. So if HT is causal, then only the LTI system is causal. A causal function, however, is inherently, mostly the causal function is right sided, or we can say that HT is equivalent to 0 for t less than 0. So for t less than 0 there is no HT, only for the right sided there will be impulse function. Consequently, from the properties of ROC of the Laplace transform, the ROC associated with the system function of a causal LTI system is mainly a right half plane or the entire complex plane. For a LTI system with rational system function, we have H, causality of the system is equivalent to the ROC of the H being the right half plane to the right of the rightmost pole, or if H has no poles, then the ROC is the entire S plane or the entire complex plane. So basically the causality is defined by impulse response, and that impulse response should be only in the right half plane or the right sided signal. So HT is equivalent to 0 for t, for all t less than 0. So for the LTI, there is a question for the LTI system with each system function h below, determine whether the system is causal or not. So first is Hs is equivalent to 1 upon s plus 1, and the ROC is given, that is real of s is greater than minus 1. So if we draw the ROC, the pole lies at minus 1 and the ROC is basically the right sided plane. So this is j omega and this is sigma. So ROC is the right sided plane. So basically this first function is the causal function. So if you see, the first function is the causal. The second function is Hs is equivalent to 1 upon s square minus 1, and then the ROC is basically real of s lies between minus 1 and 1. So the ROC is in between the strips, this one, and this is j omega, this is sigma. So it has both the terms, that is that it has the right sided signal due to minus 1 pole and the left sided signal due to left half plane due to 1 pole. So it is non-causal in nature because HT has both the domains, so it is non-causal. The C part is e to the power s, s plus 1, and the ROC is real of s less than minus 1. So if we draw real of s less than minus 1, so this is the ROC less than minus 1, and obviously this is j omega, this is sigma. The H of t is not equivalent to 0 for t less than 0. So in this also case, the ROC is, the system function is non-causal in nature because it's a left half plane. This is non-causal, this is non-causal. The last is the real of s greater than minus 1. So if we draw real of s minus 1, and this is the line real of s greater than minus 1. So obviously sigma, and this is j omega. So real of s greater than minus 1, the ROC is the right half plane, and that's why the system is causal again. So now the system function and system property. The second property is Vivo stability. So how to find out the system is stable or not? LTI system is Vivo stable if and only if the ROC of the system function H contains the j omega axis or the imaginary axis. That is real of S is equivalent to 0. Similarly, a causal LTI system with a proper rational system function H is Vivo stable if and only if all the poles of the H lie in the left half plane, that is all of the poles have the negative real parts, because if the pole are here, then only the ROC will contain, and it's a right sided signal, then only the ROC will contain the j omega axis. Okay, so this is the stable function because it contains j omega axis. But if the pole is at the right side and the signal is right sided signal, okay, so in this case the ROC does not contain j omega axis. That's why it is not stable. So LTI system has a system function given that the system is Vivo stable, Hs is equivalent to 1 upon S plus 1, S plus 2. We have two poles at -2 and -1. Clearly the system function H is rational with poles -2, -1. Therefore, these three possible ROCs, real of S greater than less than -2, real of S lies between -2 and -1, and real of S greater than -1. In order for the system to be stable, the ROC of H must include the entire imaginary axis, and that's why the only valid ROC is real of S greater than -1, because it contains the imaginary axis. So now LTI system and difference equation. Many LTI system of practical interest can be described by nth order linear differential equation with constant coefficient. Such a system with input x and output y characterized by the equation in the form of summation over k equivalent to 0 to n bk d by dt of k yt is equivalent to some part of the input signal. So this is a relation between input and output signal, that is summation over k equivalent to 0 to m ak d by dt of k xt. So we have a system, because it's a LTI system, we have input is xt, or we can say Laplace is xs, system impulse function is this, Laplace is this, output is yt, Laplace is ys. So we have the expression that is Hs is equivalent to ys upon xs, or we can write like this also, that is Hs is equivalent to summation over k is equivalent to 0 to m ak s to the power k upon summation over k is equivalent to 0 to n bk s to the power k. So this is continuous time LTI system, which is a double differentiation equation, and we have to find out the system function, then determining the system is causal, stable, or it is neither causal or not stable. So taking the Laplace transform of the above equation, so this is double differentiation of yt. So double differentiation yt and then single differentiation of yt, then -2 of yt is equivalent to xt. When you use the differentiation property of the Laplace transform, as we know, that's d by dt of xt. Laplace transform of this is basically s of xs. And double differentiation, if we use xt, then it is s square xs. So using these equations we have solved, taking the Laplace transform on both sides, s square ys plus sys minus 2 of ys is equivalent to x of 0. Using ys and the same side and then xs in the other side, we have the expression for hs, which is ys upon xs, and you will get this expression, that is 1 upon s square plus s minus 2. We can solve this and find out the roots of this, that is s is equivalent to -2 and s is equivalent to 1. Then we can find out the different impulse function for different ROC. So if the system is causal, then ht is causal, that is a right sided signal, and the ROC of hs is always real of s greater than 1, because if you draw, it is from -2 and this is 1. So this is the part. So for stability, for causality, we have the right sided signal, that is for real of s greater than 1, and for this we have ht is equivalent to -1 upon 3 e to the power -2t, because e to the power -at is 1 upon s plus a. So -1 by 3 e to the power -2t minus e to the power t ut. If the system is stable, then we have this part of ROC, because it must contain the j omega x's. So it is from -2 to 1. So real of s greater than -2 and less than 1. Thus ht is a two-sided signal, and we have a one is the right-sided signal and the other one is the left-sided signal. So this term becomes right-sided, -1/3 e to the power -2t ut, and this is the left-sided signal. So additionally one negative sign should be there, 1/3 e to the power t u of -t. If the system is neither causal nor stable, in that case, that is the ROC is real of s less than -2, this part. So this is the left-sided signal, either it is not causal, also not stable. In that case, both the signal, that is one pole at 1 and pole at -2, both the signal should be left-sided signal. So ht is equivalent to this one. So these are the references. Thank you.